Hello, welcome back to the 90s Mag podcast, your podcast for all things Newcastle United, hosted by three lifelong Newcastle United supporting buddies. Myself, joined today by AC, and Jefferson will be with us shortly, so don't panic, he will be here. Yeah, but for now, AC, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not too bad. Not too bad on this evening, concluding our bank holiday. So,
That's it.
yeah.
That's it. For those of you who didn't work today, unlike myself, I hope you enjoyed it. Um, Routine starts again tomorrow for you guys. But yeah, man, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Um, yeah, as usual, we're here to review the latest Newcastle United match. We traveled to the Amex to face Brighton and Hove Albion. And for those who don't know, it finished Brighton 1, Newcastle United 1. A ground where we haven't won in the Premier League. They seem to have our number at the moment, but boy,
Where do we start?
where do we start, man? Where do we start? I mean, again, overall thought, was it a point gained, 2 points dropped, like performance-wise? What did you make?
Yeah, part of me feels like a bit disappointed because looking at the game, I feel like we had a lot of possession. It felt like we could have done more with our possession, but unfortunately, I don't know. But it was just a really gritty game, and I feel like it's always gritty at Amex. Actually, like you said, we just don't seem to do well there. It's almost like they've always drilled up to go against us in that kind of way. I don't know. It's like, did we respect them too much at the same time? But it's a difficult one, really. But at the same time, walking away with a point, I'm like, knowing the circumstances, because we'll get into it. There was so much going on in this game with like, there were VAR decisions. There was just like referee not putting out yellow cards when he should have done, perhaps, And then there was like Minter who like respected our crowd, but then like started giving our crowd a bit of something.
Yeah,
It was interesting, Rox. I want to know your position on that because you were there, you were in that crowd.
yeah.
Us at home watching on Sky Sports did not show us what the Newcastle fans were doing. Right, I have a good understanding what they probably are doing because all of a sudden he's like kissing the Brighton badge. And anyway, there's a lot of things going on in this game, but a lot of controversy, a lot of things surrounding it, but not many goals though. So
Well, that's it. That's it. Big up, M7B. I think that's my nephew Mika. Big up Adrian as well. He said the one time he really did a number on Brighton was when we played them at home and set up almost 4-2-4. Indeed, and we didn't do that at all today. Yesterday, to me, all right. Like I said, it didn't have too many goalmouth incidents, but the game was very eventful. Yeah, and listen, we don't travel well to the Amex. They've given us a couple hidings as well. So in that respect, you can't complain with a draw, right? And to be fair, a lot of Newcastle fans would have taken a point at the beginning of the game anyway. But it's just the way other results transpired. It means maybe it's not as ideal. But the game itself, like I believe we were the better team. Without really creating too much. We controlled the game. We never really looked too much in danger of conceding.
no,
we were just sloppy in that final third, which was really frustrating. But we find it hard to break Brighton down, and I don't know if it's where we're too predictable. I mean, I can't really listen in terms of Eddie Howe. I thought he was quite reactive with the change that he made, and they made a difference. So I can't fault him in that respect. But we do seem to be. It was very samey, knocking from side to side, one touch through the center, and then see if we can go fly the wings, and then double up, and then there was no real creativity, and too many players didn't perform yesterday, which was quite concerning.
Our midfield was not on their best day at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've kind of, that's the point that disappoints me because I feel like that's what our heart is always. Our midfield's where our heart is. And I feel like if our midfield performs really well, we tend to come out with a good result, right?
And maybe Joe Linton was a big miss. Maybe,
Maybe. But I've been thinking about this and I was thinking, there's this whole debacle now about Joe Linton being out, Willock being in, Willock's performance overall. Now, I've been thinking about it. I was like, I don't want to be too harsh on Willock in that sense, because there were some glimpses of Willock as well where I felt like he was one of our best players in that sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's had the ability to go forward in that kind of way, and that kind
To run with the ball, yeah,
the ball, and to do that, and to really put, Brighton to pin them back in that kind of sense. There were many times where we felt like he was creating opportunities, but like you said earlier, the final third of it, that almost like one, too many touches sometimes, or just like decision making, or
That was
he's just hitting it himself to like have a go at it, and it's just like, no, you should have just like shared the ball at least in that situation. Which
he is trying. He's lacking confidence, but he's not shying away from things. Yeah, which is a positive sign. And he does need a run of games to get going. But it's just that games are running out. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a tricky one. But
it's very similar to Barnes in that way, when Barnes wasn't getting much game time, and we were getting a little bit seen the frustration with Barnes in that sense. And because Barnes had a good run of games, he's really got up to speed. And I think I said on the last podcast that maybe Willock is the same kind of situation here.
Yeah.
Because in the back of my mind, there's always a devil's advocate of like, should Miley have started this game? Like, because in the comparison of two players, like Willock is very, very driven to go forward in that sense. Miley, not as much. He's kind of a player that you can rely on to like
control the ball, possession,
hold possession and stuff. But
I don't think Miley was really needed for this game. I think Willock was the right selection for this game to really go at Brighton. I don't think if we're going to keep the ball and pass it around, whatever, Brighton will be comfortable with that. You know what I mean? So I think, to be fair, Willock's defensive work was pretty good as well at times as well.
Yeah.
He didn't have the worst of games, but then obviously he's got the like you said, the decision making. There was a time when he burst through and he overran it. There's one where he should have slid through.
Goes off. You're just like,
and you can see Isak just glimpsed him and said, "Look, just keep your head up, and look for the pass," like kind of thing. He's trying to encourage him, kind of thing. And then obviously he gets booked for diving, which we'll get to as well, which really summed up his day. You know what I mean? So it was a bit frustrating for him. But I mean, as long as he keeps going, I think he still can have a role to play for the end of the season. But Adrian raised a good point. He said they targeted Sandro, and in more ways than one. Physically, they were fouling him a lot, but also because they know how he is the key to our passing game. As soon as he got the ball, they were swarming him. And he a couple of times he was giving away the ball very sloppily. He didn't have the best. They realized that he was the danger man. He was the key to our passing game, and they thought, nope, not giving him any time on the ball, which is something we're going to have to deal with, moving forward, because teams are going to do that more and more.
Exactly, because people are going to start targeting him, because the reality of it is that he is our playmaker. He's the one who's deciding how we're going to run the play of the game. So, and we'll get to Bruno as well, and it's an interesting one with Bruno, right? Because you know how much I love Mr. Bruno G, one of my favorite players as well. But I think it was just bad day at the office again. But I think what's concerning now is that it feels like a few games in a row now for Bruno as well, where we feel like he's just a bit like taking too much time on the ball, losing it, wanting the fouls, doesn't get it, frustration.
And this is it.
Like winds
and both him and Isak have not played well since the cup final. Yeah, they're not at it. They're not at it, and it's a bit of concerning at the moment. Big up Jefferson, who joined us. You good, bro?
What's happening?
Good evening.
We got Scants. Big up Scants. He said there's a plan B needed. Then, yes, possibly. At this stage of the season, I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll get to that. But let's talk about the game itself, right? So let's talk about, like I said, I was there. I travelled down to the MX with Justin. So big up Justin. Got me a ticket down there. So we travelled down there. I'll tell you about my journey there and back afterwards. But yeah. So
missed your train, did you?
Listen, I will never go to that ground again. Yeah, because coming out of that ground is a nightmare. Yeah, an absolute nightmare. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But the game finished at 4. I didn't go home till after 7 o'clock. I remember it's an hour journey for me, bro. Yeah, it's a nonsense. Justin didn't get home till like after 10.
See, I've never been to Brighton Stadium, but I know where it is. I know Brighton quite well, so
Yeah, it's a
I've
nice
heard
stadium.
about. Yeah. I haven't been there
Very
though.
nice,
Yeah,
nice
but
facilities, but nah, never again.
Brighton's nice though in general, and it's a nice.
Yeah,
little...
Yeah, nice city.
But yeah, the game itself. When the game starts now, what I noticed that immediately Brighton were onto us with the pressing. Yeah, they were not giving us time to play out of the back at all. Right. And to be fair, once we settled, we were okay. It was quite an even game, but then the goal happens, right? Now, first of all, I thought, all right, decent header clear by, I think it was Tino, heads the ball clear, gets picked up by Minte, and this is the first error. Tino shows him inside, right? You know he's left-footed, yeah? Show him down the outside, but you allowed him to come in, right? And I'm sitting where the goal is. I'm sitting to the right near the corner flag, toward the corner flag, right? So I can see it from the other side, kind of thing. So he's cut inside, and Tonali, similar to what he did earlier is it last season when against with West Ham, when he's turned his back on it, yeah, and he's allowed Minte to shoot, and Pope, to be fair, is unsighted. Yeah, he stood no chance. Once Minte hit it, I could see where Pope was. It took a slight deflection, but Pope was unsighted. There was no way he was stopping that.
No way saving it, no.
Decent finish, had to be Minte, right? So you asked him about the celebration, right? So obviously, first of all, he did the usual kind of like apologizing. Now, the Newcastle fans were booing him, yeah? And then they were giving him, the little signs, and that's when he flipped, right? So then he starts saying,
right,
this is me, this is my place, da-da-da-da. Then he starts kissing the badge and all that kind of thing, whatever. He went mad. To the point where even some of the Brighton players tried to stop him after a while, because he was going on and on and on, and it was just making the Newcastle fans irate. But I didn't mind it. End of the day, you're booing him, yeah. You're booing him after you apologize. You're giving all these little signs, whatever. Bruv, do what you want. You score.
I heard Danny Welbeck got in his ear as well. Apparently,
yeah.
I don't know if that's true though.
No, to calm him down, you mean?
No, as in to like egg him on to do that.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. Maybe he did. I missed it, but
being a Mackham and that.
Yeah, a couple of the Brighton fans were trying to calm him down. Because he was really egging it on, but well, I don't care. Like, end of the day, you don't pay for us.
The thing is with the whole Minte thing is that he's never worn our shirt. He's never worn our shirts. I don't know how our fans can get aggy about it. I don't understand it personally. I don't understand it.
That's what I'm saying.
Literally, he was in a position where he was on loan for a season. Come to the end of the season, he was pushed to shove. He just had to go and get sold, and that was it. He never put his foot on St. James's Park. Imagine that. But yet, there's this situation with his players. Nonsense, really.
That frustration needs to be egged towards the board who managed the finances really poorly. Obviously, ultimately, Mandy paid for the price for that. But still, if there is any sort of residual frustration, it should be geared towards the board, because that's how we ended up in the FFP situation we were in. But I think as well, people have to understand that potentially, the frustrations there that we sold someone who could be a really good talent, but we also don't know what happened behind the scenes, because I think publicly Eddie did say that he didn't want to sell the player in the same way he did about St. Maximin, but I'm still not utterly convinced, because
he wanted him gone.
I don't think he's an Eddie type player, so we don't know what's happened behind the scenes as well. There's never really smoke without fire. I wouldn't say people just act in a madness.
We got a new listener. Big up Predator. He said, "Evening lads, just stumbled upon your channel. Glad to see some new faces from the student army. Big up. He's also said, I see the fans' point of view. Didn't see him. Didn't sell him. Go to the dugout and do it to Eddie and Cole, but not the fans." I mean, if he done it to Eddie, man, that'd be mad. That'd have been crazy. But yeah, listen, 1-0 down, and it wasn't looking. I actually thought we're going to struggle, because Brighton smelt blood after that, right? And they were.
I also sorry to interrupt, but I also did sense that after that goal, and before that goal as well, Burn was being targeted quite a bit, and he had a little bit of a slow start to the game.
You know what? I thought Burn was okay, because what they was doing, the keeper, he was pumping it long to Minte, but Burn was winning every header, right? So then what they started doing after that is targeting Fabian Schär, and that's when they got a bit more joy out of it. I thought Burn played pretty well. I thought Trippier did very well. Trippier looked very composed. But yeah, the rest of them not at it. Not at it. They couldn't get the service to Isak. Murphy was having one, right? He wasn't doing a damn thing. Barnes looked a bit lively. Maybe things weren't coming off, but he was still trying to drive back the defense and stuff.
You can see his aggression in the game, wasn't it? Barnes was still, he had something in him still that he could pull something off, let's say.
But you see Belieber, I didn't believe this brother's huge. He's a man. He's a man. I reckon he'd look Joe Lynn to look like a midget, bruv. The way
what do they eat in Colombia?
Bruv. People, bruv. He's a mountain, bruv.
He's been on the plantain, mate. He's been on the plantain.
Plantain. Anyway,
that's what you man say it, yeah?
You know what? Part of me wanted to say something, but I was just like, this is not the podcast. But D-Man said it. Thank you.
What, you mean like at Kew Gardens, yeah?
But nah, big up Double D locked in. He said 302 penalty appeals. Yeah, we'll get to that as well because I believe it.
Mad.
Oh, by the way, Palace has scored a penalty, by the way. 1-0 up. Palace are 1-0 up. Yeah, so big up Palace. Come on.
What time is it in the game? What time is it?
It's just 56 minutes or something like that. 59 minutes gone. Was it VAR again? What did someone talk to me, man? Because my bet 365 is saying VAR again in progress.
Oh my gosh, man! Wait there.
But Predator says Shah actually had a decent game, won all his duels. Burn did okay considering he had Minte running against him, but Jason was definitely a big miss. Fully agree.
I think people underestimate though the role that our fullbacks play in the defensive shape, because I think Trippier's sort of experience and positioning, you know, got us out of a few mishaps, and then also just Tino's raw pace coming back to cover. So it kind of covers up the mess. I just think we just need quick centre backs. I think both of them are really slow, and it just, you know, when you're optically watching it, it looks like Brighton's players are moving in fast forward, and our players are running in treacle, and that can't continue next season. I think they're great. I think they'd be great squad players because of their experience and what they bring, but effectively, if we're going to maintain a top 4 push or top 6 next season, they can't be starting in.
Oh no, we'll get a pacey centre back, and we'll get Botman in. Botman and the pacey centre back should be fine. Big up Kim Cam in the building, said evening to all. I see Scant when I mentioned about Bruno and Isak, he said, "Oh, what did he say? What did he say? What the comment that he said about Bruno and Isak?" He said, "So Isak and Bruno think they're done their bit for the season." No, I don't think it's that. But they're just underperforming at the moment. Adrian said they're saving themselves for the home matches. Well, if two of them could turn up for next week against Chelsea, then all may be forgiven. But at the moment, they don't look at it. And Bruno is just pissing me off.
Out the joint.
Oh,
but
man.
This is what I explained. I just think certain players, because they know they're automatic starters and they don't have enough competition, there's nothing enough to push them on. And I think actually people are talking about Miley playing left centre midfield. I actually think he could cover Bruno. I think he could play that attacking midfield slot. And now I'm starting to understand why we were looking at the likes of Cunha, and why we may, I mean, I'm not sure how wise it is and how much money we'll spend, but why we may prioritize looking at that as opposed to right winger. Because if you look at Cunha, he picks the ball up in that central attacking midfield slot and the left central midfield slot, and he's not only popping off shots, but he's got more of an incisive pass and a direct runner, similar to Barnes and to an effect Gordon as well. So it just feels like if Tonali isn't at it in those central areas, it's a problem because Bruno needs to try and get closer to goal. So if he dribbles, more often than not, he'll lose the ball or he'll try and draw the foul, which he doesn't always get. So he's then relying on a 1-2. So, but it's hard because the winger needs to make a forward movement. So we need to get him closer to the box. So you almost feel like you need someone that's got a bit more running speed or who's a bit more mobile. And I think Cunha maybe fits that bill. I can see why we're sort of linked with him a bit. I think
He's going Man United, isn't he, though?
Essentially, I think essentially we're lacking a little bit. Personally, we've got a lot of physicality, but in terms of like passing ability and incision, we need more.
But also, when Murphy's having a nightmare, you know, this is where he cannot be. As much as I like the guy, he can't be starting next season. He can't. He needs to be like a role player, you know, impact sub, or, you know, bring it rest when we're resting the first choice.
I know it's a player that always keeps circling around right wing position at the moment, but in Buemo, man,
he likes Newcastle. He likes the stadium. Yeah,
I saw that.
I see that.
Did you see
Forest equalised, by the way?
Oh, for goodness sake.
Did you see the Brentford and Man United game, by the way? I know they were talking about Newcastle here, but did you guys see how Brentford just
tore them apart?
Wow.
To Man United?
Wissa. How do they do it? You know, it's the scouting networks. This is what I'm talking about. You know, I know the size and stature of our clubs are completely different, but is it Matthew Benham or whatever his name is? Once they switch to that data model, they've been able to sign some really good players. And you look at the likes of Mikel Damsgaard, Visser, even young Kevin Schade. You know, I want players like that coming through us as well, instead of just, you know, going all in on a lot of these more.
That's what Mitchell said, man.
Premier League established, yeah.
Mitchell will get the job done, man. Mitchell we trust. But anyway, but back to the game though. Second half now. This is the impressive thing was that, you know, Eddie made a change early. I think it was 55 minutes. He hauled Murphy off and brought on Gordon. Obviously, Barnes has been shifted to the right. It's funny because Gordon comes on. I don't know if you saw it. Gordon comes in. He's clicking at Barnes. And he goes, "You right to the right." Yeah, and Barnes is like, "Oh, here we go." But anyway, so he shifted to the right. And to be fair, Gordon had an immediate impact. We thought we had our first of the penalties.
I thought he drew the pen immediately. I was like, "Whoa!" Because we know Gordon can do that. He draws the pens, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does it all the time. So,
and thought we had the penalty. I'm with the Newcastle fans celebrating and all sorts, and then obviously it goes to VAR, and then it's deemed outside the box. Close, but I think it was the correct decision. Obviously, nothing comes of that. And then,
sorry to interrupt. This image is funny because Bruno's actually in the shot because Bruno was looking at the screen as well. I just want to say that, but yeah. Anyway,
is that a clear and obvious error? I suppose maybe it is. I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, it doesn't get given. Then we have the second one. Now, obviously, Murphy, Willett's driven forward. I think what happened? I forgot what happened, but Willett's gone for it. The keeper's gone to challenge him, and Willett's gone down. Now, this is where we are, but where I'm facing, by the way. So immediately I'm thinking, all right, he's never going to get full control of the ball, but I thought there's contact enough for him to go down. Again, celebrating penalty, right? And then it goes to VAR. And when they call the ref to the screen, thinking it's not going to get given. And the funny thing is that all the Newcastle fans are cutting. When he books Willett, all the Newcastle fans are cutting. Then they show it on the screen, they're like, yeah, he dived. He dived. He dived. I thought it was bad, man. It was bad.
Simulation.
But again, correct decision. And that's when you think your luck's out, in it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen today. We're not creating anything. And then I forgot the Brighton defender's name, but obviously the free kick, and he handballs it.
Ayari.
Yeah,
he scored a banger last week.
Yeah. And thankfully, Isak steps up, slots away the penalty after doing nothing all game. Slots away the penalty. I think that's 23 league goals now, the most scored by a Newcastle player. He beat Shearer's record. 23 goals for Isak, 23 and counting. But yeah, and then they're fighting over the ball because they want to get back to the centre circle to push off a winner. And it almost came. Callum Wilson had the opportunity on the volley. Good save by the keeper. And again, we still had a couple of opportunities.
He really laces through that shot, man.
And it's funny because when Callum Wilson came on, The first thing he did was commit a foul, and I thought, here we go, wrestling defenders again like a security guard. But you know what I mean? Credit to him. He looked a bit more lively today. What I will say, you know, you just found an question you screaming for Asula to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
I watched him warm up. Yeah, that brother can't hit a barn door. Yeah, he cannot hit a barn door, bro. Like, you know when they do it where they do a pass to the and first time shot, like someone passing first time shot, bruv.
What against the little setup goal they put on the pitch?
Yeah, the setup goal. Bruv, he almost hit me. Yeah, with one of the shots. Right, he kept on he hit the bar. The keeper was saving it. He's putting it wide. Bruv, he scored about 2 in 10. I'm like, there's a reason why you're a sub, bro. There's a reason. You're not ready. You're not ready yet, bro. You're not ready yet. But yeah. But listen. But then, similarly, in injury time, they had an opportunity as well. A little melee in the box, and Tonali gone in, similar to when we won a penalty against. I think it was West Ham when Gordon's put his foot was it last season? Gordon put his foot in front of the defender. I think it was Calvin Phillips, and he's whacked him. Yeah, and we got the penalty. It was similar to this one a little bit. Tonali kind of maybe got away with one there because it looked like it could have been given a penalty, but it was waved away. And then finishes 1-1. Again, not the greatest result, but considering how we perform at the MX.
Can I say something? They should have had a man sent off. How that UEFA challenge was not a red. I don't care if he touches the ball. He completely follows through and connects with his ankle. Yeah. Like it was nasty that challenge.
Was disgusting. Absolutely. Nasty. And they took him off soon after that.
Yeah, because they knew.
They knew. So
that was crazy. Crazy.
I see a couple comments from Predator here. He said Murphy has an amazing attitude and is happy to play a supporting role if he's asked to do so. If we get a right wing upgrade, and Bremo, Murphy will be happy to play off the bench. Won't make waves. It's true. If we get Bremo, I think no Newcastle fans will complain about that.
That will be.
How many years does Murphy have left? Just out of interest.
In his legs or on his contract?
Or on
leave him alone.
On his contract.
He's 30.
I know he's got 19 goal involvements in the Premier League, by the way, which is absolutely mad. But I think what we've got to be mindful of is we did exactly the same with Miggy when Miggy had a good season, So whether they've had a good season or not, we know their limitations and that they're average. We just need to sell. If we can get good money, and I'm talking in the region of £15 million, time to go and then see who else we can get him. Because if we keep him for another year, and let's just say he has a below average season next season, and he's only got 1 year left, he's then difficult to shift. And then you've got in a situation where you're either having to loan him or you're keeping him, gathering dust for another year. So I think it's about having business sense now. This is what we're seeing with a lot of the other clubs. You saw the likes of Douglas. I know we're talking different levels here, but you saw the likes of Douglas Luiz. He was literally their best player. And as soon as there's value, got to go. This is kind of how we got to... Basically, there's no room for sentiment anymore. This is what we need to do this summer, I think.
It'd be interesting to see who does leave. Your obvious ones are your Matt Target, Sean Longstaff.
Get rid of Ed Wood first, man.
Yeah,
I feel like
Callum Wilson.
Because I'm hearing Wilson and Lascelles might be getting extensions.
That's mad. Listen, the only way Wilson stays, if we get a backup, a proper backup striker for Isak, and Wilson could play, League Cup games or something like that.
There must be reasons for maybe homegrown players count or something like that, because we're going to be in Europe next season. So it could be that, but at the same time, I don't know, man. I see this kind of news, and I have to look at it and just walk away. Have to walk away. It just upsets me because I don't know, man. I just feel like if we're not careful, we're going to be stuck in this rut of recycling our old players with contracts over and over again. To a point, we run out of roads. And I think the fear is, isn't it? I guess from a Newcastle perspective, if they don't renew Wilson's contract, he walks away for free this summer. Now, How much worth has Wilson left yet got in his pocket? I don't know. And I think at the moment his performances is probably not helping. Let's be honest, it's not really helping his worth.
He's not scoring another goal, bro. He's not going to score another goal for us.
Realistically, how much is Wilson really worth now?
5 million?
Probably like 5-8 million. I'm not even joking because of his age as well. So
if Coventry get promoted, I think he'll go there because he'll want to go home.
That's not a bad shout, you know.
It's not a bad shout.
I think you know what? I think he could go to Burnley, bro. I think he could go to Burnley.
I thought the same about Pope with Ipswich, and look how that turned out.
Pope, don't even get me started on Nick Pope, man. Listen, for anyone that understands that goalkeeping is more than shot stopping.
Hey, sorry, you know about Nick Pope, yeah. Again, when he was warming up today, right? When he was warming up, right? Obviously, the Bravka and that come out, whatever. And but first of all, the keepers, not Nick Pope, yeah, but the rest of the keepers are doing little kick-ups between themselves, right, in a circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the Bravka and the trainer, no, the Bravka and Ruddy. You know the famous clip of
man said trainer, but he meant Ruddy. Go on.
Yeah. You know the famous clip of all the players try to do it now, but there's a famous clip of Messi and Alves when they were pinging the ball to each other.
Yeah.
They were doing that, right? Comfortably.
Okay.
And then the Bravka doing his long range passes, whatever when they're training the pitch, it's kicking, right? Nick Pope is deliberately avoiding the kicking, right? But then they force him to do a kicking thing, right? The Brighton kids.
It went out wide, didn't it? It went out wide. Go on.
The Brighton kids are lining up in their kit like they're doing some sort of presentation on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Pope kicks it and almost takes off one of their heads, bruv. Yeah, he's trying to aim for the trainer. He's kicked it toward the Brighton kid and it's gone zinged over their head. I'm like, this guy's useless. He's absolutely useless. He's a calamity with his feet, bruv. He's a nonsense. He has to go.
It's really. It's like when you really focus on it, you see how bad it is. Of just like he hits the ball out and it never
hits the target.
And also he can't do one touch. Like you see it, he's hesitant. When the ball comes back, he's almost like, please don't pass it back to me.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like Dubravka is just like 100% better. Dubravka is like so much better with
distribution, bruv. It's not even distribution. It's with his hand. Like the amount of times I see he's holding it, and it's like release it to the fullback. Like we could
free Dubravka,
we can have a quick break here.
Free him. Free Dubravka.
You're allowing the defense to reset. You know.
Well, let's talk about where this result leaves us, right? Because we're on 63 points now, a point behind Man City after their win at the weekend. And I don't know if the Scats is still listening, but flipping Liverpool, yeah, still drunk, right? Yeah, got slapped up by Chelsea. So they're now level with us.
Before you continue, what I don't understand about that game is that Slot decided to just completely remove his whole midfield and change it up. Right. Even if the guys are still on bench, I don't understand that because
when they're apparently trying to go for 90 points, come on,
you ripped up the heart of the team. Just like us, what we said about midfield. For them as well, it's the same. When you don't have McAllister, you don't have Szoboszlai, you don't have Gavin Birch as well. You just remove it completely, and then you're putting an XYZ in there. That's why they lost the game. And
Quansah.
And Quansah, I pray to God we don't get this guy.
He's awful.
We've been linked with him a couple of times.
I know.
I don't care if Eddie can coach a player. He's shit. I don't want him. Please.
Yeah. Scouts talk about message to the board. Listen. You Liverpool. Listen. Credit to Liverpool. They won the league, innit? But I'm telling you, they need about 5 players. Yeah, in the summer. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to get annihilated next season. Right. Don't think Van Dijk and Salah are saving you next season, my friend. Yeah, you got these strength and depth. You already showed you can't handle 2 games a week with your Champions League debacle. But anyway, that's another story. But anyway, we digress. We digress. But no, I was hoping that Liverpool would do a job and at least get a point against Chelsea. But you know, Chelsea got the job done. You need at least 7. No, we don't, bro. We don't need 4 or 5 will do. No. 4 or 5. 4 or 5 will do.
If we had the money, I'd buy 7.
No, a goalkeeper, a centre back, a right winger, and a striker. That's what we really need. And if you want another centre midfielder, that's 5.
Yeah.
That's
he's
5.
He's probably counting more if you want to like replace Target, replace.
He thinks Isak's going. That's why he thinks Isak's going. Yeah, and Tonali. Yeah, but
Double D's piping up in the chat.
Yeah, but come on, Double D, man. This was some diluted competition this year, man. Come on. That was a joke of a competition, man. The new format. We literally had the group of death in it. Everyone knows what we had, what time it was for us, man. That was crazy.
Don't worry, Double D. I was aiming at more at scans, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Scans is not happy, you know. I'm triggered. We didn't leave for the cup final though. But anyway. So where does that leave us though? Because are you not worried? Are you not worried about we're gonna slip out of this thing, bro? We're not going to reach Champions League.
The Chelsea game is, as we know, it's a playoff game, isn't it? The Arsenal one, I'm resigned to the fact we may not even get any points, which is fine. I just think we need 2 wins out of the final 6 and we're good. So the Chelsea win is key to put pressure on Chelsea, and then as long as we get our bread buttered against Everton, we're as good as sorted.
Bro, I am shook now because. Before I thought we deal with Chelsea simple, right? But we ain't playing well, and Chelsea have got the confidence now, yeah. And more importantly, Lavia's back. Lavia makes such a. I can see why Liverpool was bidding that stupid money for him a couple of seasons ago because the guy is quality, bruv. Yeah, he walks into any centre midfielder in the league when he's fit. It's just his injury problems, yeah. He will walk into any centre midfielder in that league, yeah. And he makes such a big difference to Chelsea, yeah. He frees up Enzo Fernandez, you know. Him and Caicedo can do the dirty work, but and Cole Palmer, they've allowed Cole Palmer to get confident now. Yeah, bro, it's going to be a sticky one on.
Bro, I think it's conspiracy, man. Liverpool doing that. It was a conspiracy setting us up, bro.
They were drunk, bro. They were drunk. But if we don't beat Chelsea, I think we've blown it. If we don't beat Chelsea, we've blown it. Yeah,
I'm a little bit with you actually. I've been thinking about this, and I do think it's a game that we have to win. I think a draw's not good enough, in my opinion, because Brighton
that brings Villa back into it if we draw as well.
So we have to win this game.
Villa are away to Bournemouth, yeah. But if Villa get a result there, they're gonna be very good to qualify because they got Man United and Spurs. That's the next 2 games, and they'll get 6 points. They will get 6 points. So you might as well say Villa are going to get at least 6 points more. It's just that Bournemouth game. Because Bournemouth got something to play for, yeah. But it's us. This is where if we don't beat Chelsea, which is going to be very difficult, I don't think we'll beat Arsenal. And you see Everton, you see Pickford being a Mackham. He will want nothing more. He's going to have the game of his life, and he want nothing more to ruin our Champions League hopes, bro. Yeah, I can see honestly a world where we get three draws for the next 3 games. Yeah? And that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be enough. Because after today, I think Forest have got an easy game, 2 easy games, and they play Chelsea on the final day. So
what's the 2 easy games? Remind me.
Let me check it now. And I still think Forest will get a win against Palace, by the way.
It's still 1-1 between...
It's 1-1 at the moment, but I think they'll get a winner. You know it's going to happen. Us, Forest, and Chelsea are going to be on 63 points, bro. You just know it. But right,
they caught up on the goal difference as well, man, which upset me. I was just like, oh my gosh.
The Forest have got Leicester next week.
Liverpool, you conspiracy folded, man.
Forest have got Leicester next week, so that's 3 points. Yeah. Then they're away to West Ham. That's 3 points.
The thing is,
so they're going to get 6 points.
The thing is, and I've thought about this, and I think I was listening to something earlier today, and it kind of was a bit of a light bulb when I thought about it, and I was just like, us, Chelsea, Forest, and Villa were all kind of inconsistent, and it's a situation where, like, I don't think any of us are going to win all of our remaining games. Hear me out here, because there's this thing where, like, no one's really, except for us actually when we did win 3 in a bounce, but I can't really see Chelsea winning all 3. I can't see Forest winning all 3. I can't see Villa doing it. I can't see Villa picking up. I don't think they're beating Bournemouth at Bournemouth ground.
No, but what I will say though, I expect both Forest and Chelsea to get a minimum of 6 points from the next game.
Villa too.
Games. Yeah, so
Villa
Forest and Villa. I said Forest and Villa gonna get 6 points from their remaining 2 games, right? So that's will depend on how Forest finish today, but Villa's on what 57 at the moment, is it? What
60? I think they're on 60, aren't they?
60, yeah, they're on 60, right? So let's have a look at it. So Villa are on 60, right? So they're going to get 66, right? So minimum, right? So we're going to need at least 4 points to top.
We need to get 69, don't we? If we get 69, we qualify.
Yeah, but that's 2 wins from those 3 games.
Yeah,
bro.
we need 2.
Yeah. So this is where we have to. Once again, we have to beat Chelsea.
Exactly.
We have to. I'm not expecting us to beat Arsenal at Arsenal's ground. That's probably a big ask. At the same time, Arsenal's head might be mashed up, so that we might get something out of that as well. Everton, we have to win that game. So it's like we're in our home territory.
I don't think we can go all out attack because, as we've seen before, once the middle is exposed and you leave those slow defenders exposed, you will see the likes of Palmer, Madueke, especially Neto, running at them. And we've seen lesser teams like Bournemouth run at us. We've seen Fulham run at us. And a lot of this is because we don't keep our shape. So it might be one of those ones. I'm looking to see if Eddie actually has a disciplined approach and we're a little bit more defensive and then pick our moments to go forward. And then if we need that final push, then make the subs. I think if we go hammer and tongs like, yeah, we got the fans behind us. Let's try to go 2-3-0 up.
Which game is this?
Chelsea at home.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll get caught out.
I think
we'll get caught out at the back.
Jumping ahead a little bit, I think potentially Howe's going to put 5 at the back, for Chelsea. I've got this feeling. This is why I think Botman's going to come in and start.
I think win that game. And I know this sounds crazy. I would make a whole heap of changes for Arsenal. Keep everybody fresh and then hit it hard against Everton.
No, but then you're conceding
2 home games were good.
I think we can. If we beat Chelsea, I think we can frustrate Arsenal and get a draw. Yeah, I think we can frustrate. I don't think we'll win there. I think that's just dreaming. But I think we could frustrate. But if we lose or drop points to Chelsea, we're not getting nothing from Arsenal. Yeah, and this is the danger. Well, we've been there before. 3 games to go, when it's in our hands, like last season, and we saw what happened. Yeah,
and who did us? Chelsea.
Yeah.
But you know what's going to make me absolutely sick? And I have to admit, I will be furious if we miss out on Champions League, but Spurs or Man U grab it. I'm going to be absolutely furious.
The only people we got to blame is ourselves, and this is what I've been saying, and I think we were saying from day one before I was abandoned. But the sins of the past will come to haunt you. Those first 15 games where we were moaning and people were saying we're negative, the bill soon comes due. We will be regretting those points we dropped in some really abject and poor performances. Imagine that. Any one of them you convert. Look at the Everton 0-0 draw, for example. You're telling me why are we getting smashed away at Fulham? Do you know what I mean? All these ones come to haunt us now because you look at 3, 4, 5 points, we would be home and dry right now. So this is how a season works. You've got to be bang at it.
Adrian's made a good point, and he just said, if we don't achieve Champions League, we don't deserve it. Simple as. And I think that's well put, to be honest.
And how does that, if we don't make Champions League, what is your overall reflection on the season? Because obviously we've won the trophy, we're in a competition, we're going to make Europa. We're not going to be in conference, so we're going to make Europa. But what were your feelings? Obviously after the smoke clears, isn't it? Because we want to make Champions League, right? But after the smoke's clear, is it a case of okay, we're now in a competition where we have a good chance of winning, based on Man United and thingy, or is it a case of the financial implications plus Thursday, Sunday football? Are we capable of handling that? Because we've seen what Man United have done, we've seen what Spurs have done. Yes, they've got final competition, but they're not even on 40 points yet.
At what cost? You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? So
we're getting the final, but you're like 15th in the league. At what cost?
Right.
You're right. Imagine Spurs win it, for example. Spurs who haven't won a trophy in, is it since 2008?
Or 11, something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So UEFA Cup trumps League Cup. Now I know they've obviously finished poorly in the league, but getting Champions League football guarantees them revenue off the pitch, and they can attract better players. So it's business as usual. Whereas for us, I think it's an interesting one. I think although we all predicted 5th or above for us, the remit arguably was 6th or above, to improve on last season. We would have done that and then some by winning a cup if we finished 6th. If we don't get Champions League, it's a disappointment because of the off the pitch stuff you said. Because we are behind, the markers are moved forward. To kind of close that gap, we need Champions League football. Is it a failure? No, but it would be a huge setback for us because next season other teams will reset, get stronger. Do you see what I'm saying? The likes of Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, they'll just be getting stronger, and it gets harder. So this is a huge opportunity for us because it's so rare.
By the way, when we play Arsenal, they may actually need the points because Liverpool could still beat them at Anfield on Sunday. They're still in the top 5 race themselves, so they will need the points to get to beat us anyway. So it's like that makes it even worse. You know what I mean?
I don't know about Liverpool, innit? They're going to replace the midfield anyway. Sorry, Double D.
I ain't banking on Liverpool again. I ain't banking on Liverpool again. It might be a situation. I could be wrong though. It might be a situation. I don't know about permutations where we might be clinging on to 5th or have a chance of 5th, and it might demand a Forest win on our behalf against Chelsea, or vice versa. One of them might do us a favour by beating each other on the last day.
Yeah.
So we might sneak
it's gonna go to the final
in there.
But my question to you, AC, right? Out of Chelsea, Newcastle, and Villa, even Man City, right? Who needs the Champions League qualification the most? Because City, they're in a rebuild, right? And they've got the 150 charges hanging over their heads, right? We, like Jefferson said, we're behind. So if we're going to start putting, mixing with the big boys, and maybe to keep the stars like Isak and Tonali, right? Villa have got PSR problems, and they can't keep Rashford if they don't qualify for the Champions League. They can't spend. They'll have to sell a bag of players, right? And Chelsea, with that £1 billion that they spent, right? And Maresca's job being on I think there might be. Then who needs it more?
I think, obviously, I'd like to think that we need it more because I think Jefferson's point about us being slightly behind, and I do agree because let's say in an alternative universe, we didn't get Champions League, but our noisy neighbours who likes copying our homework, Villa, does. Bro, they're going to be at Champions League back-to-back in 2 seasons. Do you know what that does for them?
Yeah.
So, and you like to feel like Villa is a similar scenario to us, though I think their books are probably a little bit better. But at the same time, though, like you said, there's some PSR hovering over their heads. We're lucky. We're in this position where actually we haven't got PSR hovering over our heads this time round because I think there was definitely some smart moves done in January, where we let go of Miggy and also we let go of Kelly as well. And we have to applaud that. I know that at the time we were obviously upset that bring nobody in, but if you check it, it was a smart play. I feel like it's one of the things of like, now you're going to have more money to spend down the summer, but obviously if we get the Champions League, even better. But I think Chelsea, man, I think they've got so many, it's insane what they do. And I still think something's going to happen with them. This whole selling their women's team and that, it's going to come back. I don't think they've got away with that. And I think if that comes back to bite them, and also the fact that they didn't get Champions League, it's a weird one with Chelsea because low key they've just been really quiet, but they're just always there. And the way they beat Liverpool yesterday, I was like, this is probably the first time I've seen Chelsea win like that this season. Because I haven't really seen Chelsea do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They haven't been as prolific. Before that game, Palmer had no goals and assists for 12 games, guys. 12 games. So my man was missing.
But now he's confident.
But now he's feeling confident.
Chelsea, if they don't get it this season, they'll get it next season. Because what people got to remember is Strasbourg are on the verge of qualifying for Champions League. They've got a host of players at Strasbourg who's part of Blueco. Players like Andre Santos. They can just say, come back to Chelsea. And they've also got players like Willian Esteval that they've signed from Palmeiras, who's due to come. Kennedy Pies as well. So they're only going to get stronger. And guess what? They've bought, so they don't actually need Champions League. Like, they're good. It'll be similar to the season where they were banned from buying players. They still ended up finishing fourth. It's going to be the same thing. Isn't it? Villa is the one that's interesting because although we're saying they got trouble, the difference they have over us is they have sellable assets. So whilst we're like, oh, should we sell Murphy? We might get 10, 15 million. How much could we get for Kraft or whatever? They can just okay, Leon Bailey, 40 million. Boubacar Kamara, 40 million. Pau Torres, 40 million. Do you know what I mean? They've got really sellable assets. Even players like McGinn could fetch 20, 25 who go like really underrated.
They can just sell Felix and just bag a quick like 70, you know what I mean? So
and they've done it before. They got 70, was it 75 for Duran, 45 for Louise. Like they've bought so well, they've got huge sellable assets, So we need them to miss out.
So with that being said though, as it stands now, are we getting Champions League football?
I think fifth, just like last day against Everton.
Oh no, man! What you think the last day's going to decide it?
If it goes to the last day, I don't know if my heart can take that, bro. It will go to the last day. It will.
Just keep Anthony Gordon away from that Everton game, please. Don't let him play, please.
What I will say, we definitely have done this thing this season where when our performance has been subpar and it's quite evident of it, the next game we do bounce back. It happened not too long ago, didn't it? Villa give us a thumping, so we took it.
Yeah, but Ipswich.
I know it's just Ipswich. Hey, hold on. I know it's just Ipswich, but we still bounce back. We clap back like Ja Rule, yeah. We clap back. So I got this feeling that we will turn up for Chelsea. I'm not going to predict my score yet. It's too early in the week, man. It's only Monday, man. Give me some breathing room. But like I said, my fact still remains. We have to win Chelsea. If we beat Chelsea, we got a chance. If we don't beat Chelsea, squeaky bum time.
That's my fear, bro. Because I can see a world where we score first and end up losing 2-1. Yeah, I've just got this mad feeling. I've just got this. And Scants, are you nervous? Are you boys? Yeah, we are nervous. Yeah, big time. And I ain't scared to admit it. Yeah,
it's a weird one because like it's such a mad season because like we won the cup and that, but even that feels like last season right now.
Yeah,
it feels like this is like the next thing in it, and it's just like I feel like we can do it, man. We can, and I'm slightly with you there, Jefferson. That fifth could be the position we end up getting. I think fourth. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I think if we do end up fifth, I can see, for some reason, I can see Forest missing out. And I think
who's Arsenal's last game of the season against, by the way? Because they're not out of it. Arsenal not out of it, man. Because they'll be second by the time they'll be third by the time they play Liverpool.
But if they get one more win, I think they've qualified, bro.
That's what I'm saying. They got one more win.
If they get 70 points, they're as good as qualified. Even if they end up slipping down to fifth, I think they're
but they got Southampton on the last day of the season.
Yeah, they're good.
They're good.
They just need one more win, basically, whilst the rest of us are kind of chasing 2 wins.
Well, City will get second, I think. I think City gets second, and then Arsenal get third.
Oh, I love how like everyone just thinks they're going to win all their games. That's probably the only team that will win all the remaining games.
They're winning all their games. Yeah. Remember, Haaland's coming back now as well. they're winning their games.
And Rodri's in training, but I've heard it's only for the Club World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah. So they'll be fine. Predator said, lads, we'll make it.
As well.
He said, keep the faith. I'll be there at both home games. Can't wait.
Predator, listen, yeah, you see this team? We've been burnt by this team. You know this. The heartache is too much. I'm setting the expectations low and then let them surprise me, innit?
Wait, Adrian said, why are we not talking about second? Well, second, Adrian, second's long gone. Yeah, second is long gone. Yeah, we're not getting second.
If we had a beaten Brighton, second would have been on, but it's not.
Yeah.
Now. It's not.
It's not, man.
You know what? Psychologically, though, what I'm worried about is because it's very odd, isn't it? In terms of, it's hugely positive that the players have given it a go, particularly when we were on that run. Was it 6 wins in a row out of 7, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we've given it a go. We've now got to the point where the fuel's running out of the tank. And to be fair to the manager said, we want to go for this. This is the target and this is what we want. If we don't achieve that, that'll be a huge setback for the players and the manager, because it's clear that evident he wants that. And I wonder what the board will be thinking about that, because it would be the second time in 2 seasons where we've actually had it in our hands. It's not like we're chasing our tails. We've had it in our hands and would have potentially let it slip.
Yeah, but what the board have to, but the board are thinking, okay, let's start spending some money because at the end of the day,
I mean, he needs to be backed, of course. He needs to be backed, but it's just something to think about. Something to think about.
But last season we missed out on Europe altogether. This season we've got Europe, so we're seeing an improvement. But like I get what you're saying, the final target, but it's a strange one because I believe that they would have said to him, look, like I said, top 6 minimum, and he's getting that, yeah. But when you see the carrot of the Champions League dangling so close, and if you miss it, sometimes you think, what could have been? Yeah, what could have been? But at the same time, he squeezed every ounce of energy out of this team because he hasn't been back. So in his defense, he's going to say, okay, if you want to make Champions League, back me and I'll get it. And then if he doesn't get it next season, then it's a case of, all right, we've backed you. It's time to cut.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if we finish for Europa, that's not bad. That's still good. And
it will just hurt. It will hurt for a couple of days.
It will hurt. But at the same time, I think I told you guys before, I do see Europa as a cup that we have a greater possibility of winning, in my opinion, because it's Europa. Champions League is bloody hard. But don't get me wrong, that Thursday and that, we talked about it earlier, would you take that to be in the final but be in 15th position in the league? I don't know if I could take that, man. I don't know if I could take that.
Because the same luck as Man United. They're like cockroaches. The thing is, I'm sort of not so vexed about Man United because I've got so used to seeing them win trophies when they don't deserve it. So
you don't feel no way.
Like, yeah. But Spurs would really upset me if we didn't make top 5, but they somehow snuck in Champions League. That would really upset me.
I see Predator asks, do any of you watch the Toon review? Occasionally. I watch it occasionally. Yeah. But listen, it's going to be a nervous time. Anyone in the chat want to give a prediction for the Chelsea game? A realistic one. None of this 4-5-0 business because they ain't happening. But give us your predictions.
What does worry me about a Chelsea game? It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, guys.
Wait, Predator, are you from the Toon review? He said 2-0, by the way. He said 2-0.
Not a bad prediction. I'm going to go 2-1. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, but I do see us winning the game.
I take a 2-1, but my heart, bruv, 2-1. I can't.
2 in a week for me, man.
3-2. That's possible, man. That's possible.
I need a comfortable win, man. Like a 3-1 or something, because I'll be biting my nails, man.
What does give me confidence, if we look at the history of Chelsea at St. James's Park, especially in the last 10 there, Chelsea haven't got many good results. We seem to be most wins. So there's that. But
Forest have drawn, by the way.
Oh, okay, that's positive. So they're 6th, 61 points. All to play for.
But they've got Leicester next at home.
Okay, so that'll be 64. Although it is a derby, so that might.
Can you imagine it? Can you imagine if Leicester take points with them?
And Vardy, remember, Vardy's looking to go out like a legend. He scored in the last game.
To be honest, for us, are probably looking at Selhurst Park, a draw, a point. It's pretty good. It's a bit like us and Brighton. It keeps you there because one thing I will say, obviously we should have done better in our game, etc. Wasn't good in our final third and such, but the draw helps your momentum, and I think Forest might see that as well. Of like, it's a draw, it keeps us. We're still there. I think it's the time you don't get any points at all, you really do drop out the zone quite quick.
Surely West Ham got to get a win somewhere, because that's Forest have got Leicester then away to West Ham.
West Ham are dead, man.
They are dead, but surely
they're dead, man.
And don't count Spurs are going to get annihilated.
Honestly, West Ham disappeared since January. I don't think they've picked up many results.
So that'll be 64, 67, and then going into the last game of the season, Forest, right? They'll probably have 67 going into the last game against Chelsea, right? Chelsea.
Where is that game? Is it at Chelsea?
No, it's at Forest, I think. It's at Forest. It's at Forest. Yeah. But Chelsea have got us.
Forest could win that, actually. You know, if it's at home, I can't see ever throwing Forest at Forest's ground.
Chelsea need to beat up because they'll get the 3 points against Man United. Okay. That's 60.
I love it how everyone just doesn't credit Man United at all.
So minimum Chelsea will be 66, but if they beat us, oh my God, if they beat us,
that's why if they beat us,
that's why we have to win our game.
We lose this, we're out, I think. Unless we put the only thing that changes it if we miraculously beat Arsenal, that brings us back into it. But I think
someone in the chat said earlier, like, why are we disregarding the Arsenal game? But I know because we already scalped them 3 times this year.
They're gonna be up for it, man. I don't think they're gonna let us do clean sweep. I think they're gonna be so on it.
Arteta hates Howe. He hates Eddie Howe, bro. He hates Jason Tyndall. He hates Newcastle. Yeah.
And let's be real, the players look tired, man. They look really tired.
Who are?
And yeah, I think there was a bit of lethargy coming in because there was periods of intensity and then periods of a drop-off. There was like a good 15-minute drop-off, I noticed. And they're tired, man. That's why I think as well, making that key change, Miley for Willock could help a little bit. I can see him, Bruno, and Tonali working well to hold possession of the ball a bit better. You know, I think Willock makes good runs, but I noticed he was coming into the channel where Barnes should be coming.
I know he goes on the left, but
I think that did then provoke Barnes to come a bit more centrally because he started coming in central areas. But I just think let's try it with Miley. It'll be interesting.
Would you start Gordon again and Murphy? Drop Murphy.
Yes, but what I would say with Gordon is he shouldn't be hugging the left. I think they should be swapping. I know Barnes did well on the right, but I don't want to upset Barnes' rhythm because for me he looks a more dangerous player right now, and he's our second top scorer, and he's getting into good areas, good spaces.
But I think Gordon I think he'll be up for it for Chelsea though. It's Gordon. There's no doubt about it. When he came on yesterday,
he made a difference.
He made a difference immediately, and I think he just really gets in the opposition faces, and he could just it might be another game where we might need a penalty. We might need it.
I think might need it. Yeah, it's going to be a different predicament. What you got to understand is they had Weaver first half, and then Lamptey who got caught cold. Whereas, you know, to be fair, Chelsea's fullbacks, they're good. Gusto and particularly Cucurella, it's going to be a different predicament. And that's why I think we need to look to attack them centrally, not just wide, because they're quite comfortable wide. I think they could handle us quite well, actually.
Bro, Lavia in that midfield. Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo, bro. That could be a problem.
And I think as well, if we have to, this is what I'm saying, if it comes to the last 10, 15 minutes, just bring on Asula. I mean, yes, he might not be that good with his feet, but he's erratic. He's got good movement. He can attract defenders towards him. We can play the ball long if we have to. He scored from a set piece, so
I know
he's 6'4". It gives you another option. It gives the defenders something different to think about.
But
what Brandon just said,
it ain't gonna happen though. That's the reality. Wilson's just gonna come on for the rest of the season. He might say the last episode we're not gonna see him Asula again this season, and I think he's right.
I think
say it, but
the next 3 games, I think Eddie will see there's too much at stake.
Yeah, there's too
much.
It's such a crunch time. I can only see Asula coming up if we're like 2-0 up and there's like 10 minutes to go.
I see Predator said, here's a thought. Drop Willock, pull Barnes back to play left midfield and put Gordon out wide on the left. Imagine that going forward. True. Does that leave us
4-2-4, did it?
Yeah, does that leave us
Adrian's happy formation.
Double D, free Asula. But I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. We've got enough time, to mull it over. Obviously, we'll come back with our predictions before the game starts on Sunday, and we'll see how that would do.
Chelsea.
Oh my gosh!
Chelsea's gonna feel like the last game of the season, in a weird way.
It's do or die.
I feel like if we drop points, guys.
And that's the thing.
I'm just trying to think similar scenarios. Obviously, there was the time we had. What was the one we had? Was it Brighton? So we had Brighton at home.
Yeah.
There was that one where we had Arsenal at home.
Brighton.
Yeah.
There was who was it last season? Oh, that was Everton, wasn't it? Either Everton or Brighton, wasn't it?
When we screwed up both times, though. We screwed up both times.
I think it was Brighton. It was 1-1 draw, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about crucial games coming into that last little bit. So I guess we're 50-50 on it. It's hit and miss whether we get it over the line or not.
If it was a night game, I'd say all day.
Yeah.
This is Sunday at midday. It's Sunday at midday.
If it was an 8 p.m. kickoff, under the lights at St. James's, it's hard work for opposition.
Now this is Sunday afternoon. They ain't had enough drink in their system yet, bro.
Pubs only open up for like an hour.
It's mad.
And no one's drinking on a Sunday. It's family vibes, isn't it? It's just like I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, listen, we'll leave it there, man. We'll leave it there. But thank you all for joining. We'll be back to review the Chelsea game next Monday. Hopefully, with smiles on our faces on our way to Champions League. Otherwise, it might be a bit of a funeral. But until then, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for your comments on that. This will be available on audio as well. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we're out, man. Peace.
Salute, people.
Peace.